Go ahead, Dee.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the pre-bid and technical review meeting for the Chicago Department of Transportation Works Progress Administration Street Reconstruction for North Mason Avenue, West 56th Place, and South Hoyne Avenue. Contract is C1622. Today is April 21st, 2025, and it's a little bit after 11 a.m. We'll get started. Our agenda includes introductions, then procurement details, which I'll go over. Then I'll turn it over to our Director of Compliance to go over the compliance details for the contract. And then I'll turn it over to our project manager to go over the technical review portion of the contract. And then we'll close with a Q&A session. We'll start with introductions. First, let's get started with our PBC team. I am Dee Taylor, and I assist both the procurement and compliance departments at PBC. Next, I don't know if Ray, our executive director, Ray Gitteroff, is on the line. Okay, if not, next, our director of procurement, James Borkman.
Good morning, everybody. James Borkman, Procurement. Miguel?
Good morning, everyone. Miguel Fernandez, Procurement.
Good morning, Patrice Dog, Director of Compliance.
Morning, Randy Williams, Deputy Director of Construction.
Good morning, Robert Ochi, PBC Project Manager.
Good morning, Donna Green, PBC Project Manager.
Javier Descoto, PBC.
Good morning, Tanya Fouché, Weekly, PBC.
Fauzi Al-Kayed, PBC Manager, Project Manager Assistance.
Morning, everyone. Yash Patel, PBC Assistant Project Manager.
Good morning, Dawn Santana, PBC.
Okay, if that's it for our PBC team, next we'll have CDOT and partners. Introduce yourselves.
Good morning. This is Jacqueline Samuel. I am the WPA Program Manager with CDOT Engineering. With us, we have CDOT Construction Section. I would like to introduce themselves. After that, I would like CDOT Design Team, which is Grave, and Civil Tech to introduce themselves. So go ahead, CDOT Construction Team. I think it's Fuad with us. So thank you.
Thanks, Jacqueline. Yeah, this is Fuad Abed with CDOT Engineering in the construction section. I'll be the CDOT RE for the WPA projects from our end.
This is Jeffrey Orzik with Grafe, the engineer of record, with the overall project manager, overall managing the Delta projects and Grafe projects. I'm not sure, I don't see him. Jasbir might be also here with Delta. I'm not sure. Jasbir, are you there?
Yeah, good morning, guys. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Hi, this is Nick Verswan, Project Manager for the WPA Streets Reconstruction Program with Civil Tech. Tom?
Good morning, everyone. Tom Considine with Civil Tech, Engineer for the WPA program.
That's all from our CDOT's end.
Okay, and just a reminder, everyone, please put your company's name in the chat as well. Next, do we have any general contractors on the line or joining us today?
No GCs and no suppliers, vendors.
Okay. Then let's move forward to procurement details. Thank you, James. Project overview. So we have 3 project locations. North Mason Avenue from North Mendota Avenue to West Estes Avenue, West 56th Place from South Shields Avenue to Dead End, and South Hoyne Avenue from West 63rd Street to West 62nd Street. All three locations are in Chicago, Illinois. Project overview. The general scope of work includes earth excavation, Portland cement concrete base course, hot mix asphalt surface course, sewer main, water main, and drainage structures, concrete curb and gutter, concrete sidewalks, brick pavers. The brick pavers are for North Mason Avenue only. Tactile detectable warning surface system for curb ramps, concrete driveways and alleys, roadway lighting, thermoplastic pavement marking, signs, topsoil, sodding, and tree removal and planting. The contractor will be required to prepare a phasing and logistics plan for review and approval by both CDOT and PBC prior to the mobilization and commencement of any work. Continuing with our general scope of work, the contractor shall also be responsible for providing critical submittals, including electrical lighting, poles and luminaires, sewer and water main, and concrete mix design as determined by the PBC within 30 days of issuance of the NTP, notice to proceed. Project includes City of Chicago Department of Water Management, also DWM, lead service line replacement work, total of 20 service lines at North Mason Avenue, 2 service lines at 56th Place, and 19 service lines at South Hoyne Street. DWM requires approximately 2 days per location to perform the work. DWM's work is anticipated to commence in Q3 of 2025. And upon contract award of the new WPA project, a meeting will be scheduled to review and confirm any and all coordination items, including DWM's planned work activities. Our time of completion for the project. Most importantly, substantial completion must be achieved no later than November 30th, 2025. Scheduled milestones must be completed as follows. There are 2 scheduled milestones. The first one is pre-construction, including permitting, construction submittals, material and equipment procurement, schedule preparation, mobilization, and utility coordination. The milestone date is June 20th, 2025, and work may not commence sooner than May 13th, 2025. Again, substantial completion is November 30th, 2025. It includes street reconstruction and associated work. Work may not commence sooner than June 20th, 2025. Schedule milestone number 2 is new landscaping, and work may not commence sooner than October 1st, 2025, and the milestone date for that is November 30th, 2025. At this time, I'd like to ask if the project manager or anyone has any additional comments regarding the time of completion. Robert, if you have anything.
Dee, I did not have any other comments or questions regarding the time of completion.
Okay, thank you, Robert. Liquidated damages. $1,500 per day will be assessed for failure to achieve substantial completion. $500 per day for failure to achieve milestone dates will also be assessed. Availability of documents. Our documents for the project include Book 1, Book 2, and Book 3. Book 1 is instruction to bidders. It includes introduction, general project overview, submission requirements. A few highlights are the bid form, the MBE, WBE, and EEO goals, and the community area map. Book 2 includes the standard terms and conditions, the T's and C's for the contract. Book 3 includes the technical specs and also the construction drawings. The documents are available on our PBC Current Opportunities page. You have the web address listed here, pbcchicago.com/opportunities, CDOT WPA Basin 56 and Hoyne. We also have our documents in our online plan room. Our printer is Crossroads Print and Technologies. They're in Lombard, Illinois. Our contact for Crossroads is Christy Weber. Her phone number is 630-963-4700. And we also have the email address listed here as well. And you can also get the same information on our website. We do have the address for the online plan room that is also listed on the website. Also, you can, our documents are also available through our assist agencies. We partner with a number of assist agencies listed here. They also can provide bidders with our documents. But we also encourage you to contact our assist agencies because their members are minority owned businesses as well as women-owned businesses that are certified. And these are required to participate on the contract. And also, if you have any problems downloading any of the documents, we encourage you to contact the printer and the assist agencies, well, the printer actually directly if you have any issues. I'm also available for contact, but we prefer that you go directly through the printer because it's a lot quicker and you can get the documents faster and easier, okay? Tech review meeting. The tech review meeting is also scheduled for today, immediately following this meeting at approximately 11:30 a.m. There have been no site visits scheduled for this project. However, failure of the bidders to become familiar with the project shall not relieve or alter the bidder's responsibility for completing the work as required by the contract documents. As I mentioned, I am the point of contact, the sole point of contact. D. Taylor, contract officer, d.taylor@cityofchicago.org is where you can contact me. The deadline for receiving any questions for requests for information, also RFIs, the deadline is April 29th, 2025 by 4:00 p.m. So far, there have been no addenda issued to date. However, we may be issuing addenda soon. And the best way to receive that is to sign up for PBC alerts on our website under doing business. And then you'll see the link for the PBC alerts. Bid due date and time. The bid is due, your submittals are due on Tuesday, May 6, 2025 at 11:00 a.m. The date and time are subject to change via addendum. So again, please make sure you signed up for PBC alerts. Virtual meeting details. The bid opening will be streamed live and will be recorded and available on our website for viewing on the PBC's homepage and also on the current opportunities page. Bid submission requirements. You are required to submit the bid electronically, one complete copy of the bid document with original signatures in blue ink or digital signature. You also must include the bid bond. You also must include the master bid form, which includes the master bid tab, all 3 schedule of prices, and the award criteria sheet in both Excel and PDF formats separately within the email. And note that the PDF documents should be searchable in PDF form and not a scanned copy. You're to email to 2 locations, both directly to me at d.taylor@cityofchicago.org and also pbc-procurement@cityofchicago.org. If you're unable to submit your bid electronically, you may request the instructions for submitting a hard copy of your bid in writing to the Director of Procurement, James Borkman. You can also submit it to me at d.taylor@cityofchicago.org. But our Director of Procurement, James Borkman, will be the final decision as to whether or not you'll be able to submit a hard copy. The pre-award meeting. The date and time for the pre-award is Thursday, May 8th, 2025 at 10:30 a.m. It will be a virtual meeting. And again, the dates and times are subject to change via addendum. The notice of award, the anticipated schedule for the NOA notice of award is May 2025, following the PBC Board of Commissioners meeting. The successful general contractor will be required to provide compliant certificate of insurance and payment and performance bond within 7 days of the NOA issuance. Now, just a few highlights of Book 1 and Book 2. Budget, staffing, and additional requirements are included in Book 1 and 2. So in Book 1 on page 4, we have the estimated construction budget, which is $6 million to $6,100,000. On page 6 of Book 1, you can find the mandatory project staffing, the scheduling software requirements, and liquidated damages. Prevailing wage rates can also be found in Book 1 on both page 7 and page 47. And on page 47, we have a direct link to the Illinois Department of Labor. So you can access the prevailing wage rates there. Joint venture opportunities. We always have joint venture opportunities. We always encourage joint ventures on our projects. The Schedule B is a joint venture affidavit, can be found in Book 1 on page 32. You're required to submit a JV agreement as well as certification letters for your MBEs and WBEs. Next, this is a sample of the bid form that's included for the project in your bid documents. So the bid form includes the project name, location. You are to enter your firm name here. This sheet will automatically populate from the other forms that we'll take a look at. The totals will populate here. We see base work only. You'll be filling out individual sheets for each of the 3 locations. And the grand total base bid will total here, and the grand total award criteria figure will also total here. Here's where you'll be entering your individual information for each of the locations. Each avenue or place has a separate tab, 3 separate tabs here. You have to enter your unit pricing for each of the 3 streets. The master bid form will automatically populate and total to the lines that I just showed you. Here's the bid form schedule of prices. This is one of the three locations. The schedule of prices, you will enter your unit pricing here in the unit price column for each of the lines. Each of the lines must be completed. The sheet will automatically total here. It will calculate here the cost based on your unit price times your estimated quantity. It'll total here, and then it'll total, the grand total will be here. And again, this amount goes back to the original bid form that we saw. Next, the bid form, the master bid total. This is just some additional information. Again, this shows you where the grand total base bid populates and the grand total award figure for all streets populate. The totals are from all 3 locations. They'll automatically populate here. We also need additional information, including your surety firm. We want the name and the address of your surety, and we also want your firm's information. It goes here. You have to complete all of these lines here. The award criteria figure. This form also populates back to the master bid form. Here is where you would enter your minority journeyman percentages, your minority apprentice percentages, and your minority laborer percentages. The 3 of those percentages each cannot total, the max is 70%. Okay, and then we have the female journeymen and the female apprentices and the female laborers. The max for each of those is 15%. You enter those percentages here on the light green lines here, and they automatically total and populate. They total here, and this figure will automatically calculate on the master bid form. The basis of award is listed in Book 1 on page 10. The award will be made to the responsible bidder submitting the lowest grand total award criteria figure that we just saw. That will be on line 15 of the bid form, whose corresponding grand total base bid, which is on line 14 of the bid form, is within the available funds for each street or avenue and is otherwise responsive to all requirements of the contract documents. Firms are required to fill out the entire bid form to be considered responsive. And those are the lines that we just reviewed. The commission reserves the right to reject any and all bids wherever such rejection is in the best interest of the commission. Bids that the PBC considers to be materially unbalanced will be rejected. Next, we're getting to our compliance portion of the presentation, and I will turn it over to our Director of Compliance, Patrice Doyle.
Good morning, everyone. Patrice Doyle with PBC Compliance. For this project, the goals are 26% MBE, 6% WBE. We only accept certification from the City of Chicago or Cook County. And if you would like additional information about our MBE and WBE program, you can look in the Book 2, Article 23 for our special conditions. Again, we only accept certifications for City of Chicago or Cook County, and they must be current. For this project, the maximum for your award criteria for minority journey workers, minority apprentice, and minority labor is 70%. The maximum for female journey workers, female apprentice, and female labor is 15%. So this will identify what percentages of minority journey worker, apprentice, labor, minority female journey worker, female journey worker, apprentice, and labor, either 15%, and this is the total hours worked on the project. This is not a requirement that you have to bid 70% in the minority category or 15% in the female category. This is what you recommend you can achieve on the total hours worked on the project. And again, those are the maximum numbers that you can bid. For community hiring requirement, the goal is 7.5%. For city residents requirement, the requirement is 50%. And this is also on the total hours worked for the project. Again, that is 7.5% of the total hours worked on a project have to be community hiring, and 50% of the total hours worked on the project has to be city residency requirement. This is the community area map. So the 7.5 hours that should be achieved on the project is from these areas on this community area map. So those that work within these community areas, those hours would go towards your 7.5% community hiring. We use B2G Now as our payment tracking system. If they are an established business as an MBE or WBE, make sure you check their current certification because the percentages may change for various reasons. As a MBE or WBE, they may be an established business, meaning they're in the process of graduating out of the program and only receive 75% credit for the first year of that process, 50% credit for the second year of the process, and 25% credit for the third year of that process. So meaning if their contract is $100,000 and they're in their second year, they only can receive 50% MBE or WBE credit if they are an established business. Manufacturers that are MBE and WBE certified firms will receive 100% credit. Suppliers that are MBE or WBE firms will receive 60% credit, and MBE and WBE brokers will receive 0% credit. You must submit a Schedule D as well as a Schedule C with your bid package. The Schedule D should be completed by the contractor that's bidding, the general contractor that's bidding, and this is the credit amount that you will receive for MBE and WBE participation. Again, this should only show the credit amount for MBE, WBE participation. The goal is 26% MBE, 6% WBE. They must be certified in the scope of work that they are performing, and they must have a current certification letter from City of Chicago or Cook County. The Schedule C should be completed by the subcontractor, and this is where their total contract value will go. So if they are a supplier and their total contract value is $100,000, the $100,000 should appear on the Schedule C, and the 60% should appear on the Schedule D, which is $60,000. Make sure on page 2 that you are completing those subcontracting level section. If you are subbing out work to a non-MBE, WBE, a MBE, or a WBE. And again, this is work, not supplies. If you're subbing out any work to a subcontractor, you must identify the percentage of that you're subcontracting. If you are subcontracting to a non-MBE or WBE, you will not receive credit. For instance, if you're subcontracting 10% to a non-MBE, WBE, and your contract value is $100,000, $100,000 should appear on your Schedule C, and $90,000 should appear on the Schedule D.
Thank you, Patrice.
Thank you, Dee.
Okay, and again, just a reminder that I am the PBC contact, the sole contact for this project, and I can be reached again at d.taylor@cityofchicago.org. Next, we're at our technical review portion of the presentation, and I will turn it over to Robert Ochi, our project manager.
Thank you, Dee, and good morning, everyone.
Thank you,
So
Robert.
I'm going to quickly go over just a graphical representation of our project sites, which are North Mason Avenue from North Mendota Avenue to West Estes Avenue. The second street is S.Hoyne Avenue from West 63rd Street to West 62nd Street. And our third street for Reconstruction is West 56th Place from South Shields Avenue to the dead end. And as everyone can see on the graphic in front of you, you want to go back to that last slide,
I'm
Dee?
sorry.
Yeah, there's some uniqueness on these WPA projects, as there's little offshoots or cul-de-sacs, especially with the West 56th Place project. I'm going to hand it over to Jeff Orzik from Grafe, who will provide more detailed information on the existing conditions and the scope of work. So Jeff, you could take it over from here.
Okay, thanks, Robert. This is Jeffrey Orzik with Grafe, and we'll first be getting started by taking a look at Mason Avenue. Mason Avenue is a north-south street, and the south limit is at Mendota Avenue, and it goes north to Estes, and there's a little bit of work on Estes also. During this overview, we'll be taking a look at the existing and proposed conditions and any local coordination that has to be done. The photos here show the existing conditions of Mason and Estes. There's existing asphalt pavement, basically with narrow paving areas from 17 to 24 feet wide, and there's one intersection at the intersection of Mason and Estes on the north end of the road. As we said, there is existing narrow pavement. There are no curb and gutters, and there's also poor paving out there right now, especially on Estes, as you can see from the upper right photo. The lack of curb and gutter leads to a lot of flooding on the street and on private properties, as a lot of the grades are roughly at the same elevation. The goal is for these plans, we want to widen to 28 feet wide and install curb and gutter and to construct all of the paving and the sodding and the sidewalks to drain onto the pavement. And we're going to be constructing new driveways and alley aprons, all to lead to the water accumulating on the pavement and draining into the city sewer system. There, we're going to be installing new catch basins and sewer laterals to connect to existing sewer. There, we're also going to be installing new sidewalks on the east and west side of Mason and also on the north side of Estes, as shown in the plans. This will improve the accessibility for pedestrians. I'll remove any old sidewalk and provide current ADA required sidewalk. We can see that we'd be also making ADA improvements at the intersections, showing current ADA design ramps. This will especially help anyone with ADA needs. We'll also be improving the sidewalk on the north side of Estes, as shown there. The existing concrete sidewalk on the south side of Estes is in good condition, so that will not be replaced. This will all along improve the ADA accessibility for all users. One of the things we see here is that we see some of the existing poor conditions in the photos and things that aren't ADA compliant. By reconstructing the pedestrian ramps and putting in modern ADA detectable warning tiles and also updating the pavement markings, we're going to be effectively making these ADA replacements. Okay. For the landscaping conditions, the Bureau of Forestry has instructed us to remove certain trees, and they're to be removed, and 7 new trees will be planted. These will include linden and white oak trees, and also new sod will be placed in the parkways. The 28th Street street width will allow east side parallel parking on Mason. There will not be parallel parking on the west side of the road. This will allow north-south traffic and 1 lane of parallel parking. Okay, the second street location is Hoyne. Hoyne is a north-south street, and it goes from 63rd Street on the south to 62nd Street on the north end. There's also a little bit of 62nd Street work immediately east of Hoyne Avenue. Again, we'll be taking a look at the existing and proposed conditions, and if there's any local coordination will be noted. We can see that the existing street is narrow, anywhere from 12 to 26 foot wide, and it's pretty narrow. As we can see, there's one intersection on the road, 63rd Street. At 63rd Street. The narrow roadway causes vehicles to park within the roadway. You can see from the middle photo above, people are using it to park in the grass. The pavement is in very poor condition. You can see all the alligator cracking in the photos above. Similar to the previous location, the lack of curb and gutter leads to water accumulating throughout the right-of-way and onto private property. Everything's roughly, you can see, often at the same type of grade. And we're going to be introducing new curb and gutter to avoid this. Okay. With a new roadway, again, we're putting in a 20-foot roadway width 28-foot roadway width, excuse me, and we're going to be installing curb and gutter with positive drainage from the right-of-way down to the street to accumulate the drainage within the street and not to keep water near the private property. By doing this, we'll also be installing new driveways and alley aprons draining onto the street and installing new catch basins. We're going to be installing new sidewalks on both the east and west side of S.Hoyne Avenue. This will replace any existing poor pedestrian access that's out there right now. We'll also be constructing sidewalks just as we're wrapping around the bend from S.Hoyne to 62nd Street as shown in the plan markup. And this will increase the connectivity. We'll also be providing on the east side of S.Hoyne a north-south crossing across 62nd Street. We can see that the existing photos show very poor pedestrian access right now where it's not demarcated. And we're going to be installing ADA ramps and also pavement markings to provide access across the road and through the job site. For landscaping, we're going to be removed as directed by the Bureau of Forestry, and 25 new trees will be planted in the parkway along with the sod. And these 25 trees are going to include elms, black bald cypress, hackberries, and honey locusts. On this street, we're again with a 28-foot width, we're going to allow vehicles to be 2 abreast, and we'll also be providing parallel parking on the east side of S.Hoyne. And the third last location is 56th Place on East-West Street, from a dead-end cul-de-sac on the west to Shields on the east. Again, we'll be looking at the existing and proposed conditions, and I'll note if there's any local coordination that needs to be done. Okay, the existing pavement is 18 feet wide. The 39.6 is for the cul-de-sac width on the southwest portion of the photo on the bottom. And there's one intersection at 56th Place in Shields at the east end of the project. A lot of times, the vehicles with the narrow road allows vehicles to be parked in the existing grass, trying to avoid that. We see the extremely poor paving areas with elevator cracking and potholing. You can see those in all 3 photos. The pavement's in existing is very poor shape. And similar to the other 2 projects, the lack of curb and gutter leads to flooding all through the area, and there's no guided water flowways. Okay. We're going to be installing curb and gutter along 56th Place, and we're going to be reconstructing the driveways such that all the water is positively drained onto the pavement into the catch basins as shown there. We're also going to be doing a little bit of work on the cul-de-sac on the southwest portion with some resurfacing of that, and also some resurfacing of the Shields Avenue intersection. There's a resurfacing agreement made between CDOT and Department of Water Management, and the cul-de-sac in Shields is going to be resurfaced, not reconstructed, but resurfaced as shown in these plans here. The sidewalk is going to be constructed on both the north and south sides of 56th Place, and this is going to allow for a much better, modern, convenient sidewalk for pedestrians, especially those with ADA needs. We're going to be reconstructing and putting in modern ramps and ADA detectable warning tiles at the intersection. We'll also be making it so that we get rid of any non-ADA locations that's shown at the bottom left corner where things are not accessible for ADA users. I mean, in the top left, you can see how it's not conducive to pedestrian usage. And we'll also be putting in fresh pavement markings after the reconstruction and or resurfacing. There's existing trees, again, that are directed by the Bureau of Forestry to be removed, and 10 new trees will be added. These are serviceberry, lindens, and a white oak, and new grass and sod will be placed in the parkways. There will be, again, parallel parking on only one side of the street. On the north side of the street, there shall not be any parallel parking on the south side of the street.
Thank you, Jeff. That concludes the technical review portion of the presentation. And now we'll open it for Q&A. Are there any questions?
We have no questions in the chat, and it doesn't look like we have any hands raised. Before we wrap up, if you would just please go back to the slide indicating books 1, book 2, and book 3.
You passed it. Oh,
Thank
here
you.
go.
That was it.
Yeah.
I just want to make clear here that the book 3 does not include the construction drawings, as is indicated here. There's a plus sign that the construction drawings are separate from book 3, so that the bidders understand that they are not part of book 3, that they are a separate downloadable file from both our printer plan room and available through a link on our website.
Okay, thank you, James.
Thank you. Still no questions, Dee. I think we're good.
Okay, well, we will conclude the meeting. Again, thank you, everyone. This concludes the meeting. Our pre-bid and technical review meeting for CDOT Works Progress Administration Reconstruction for North Mason Avenue, West 56th Place and S.Hoyne Avenue, Contract C 1622. Thank you.